Shalom, brothers and sisters. This is your brother ISRAELITES from the Northern Kingdom, bringing some edification for you Negro, Latino, and Indigenous who are the biblical Israelites. And before we start, we want to give all praise and honor to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Barakatham, Rakakadash. The Yahweh being the name of the Lord, not Jehovah, or God, or Yah, or Ahaya. It's Yahweh, the creator of all the Ancient of Days. Bahasham is in the name of, and Yahweh Shai is one you guys call Jesus or the Christ, signally speaking. And we give double honors to elders in GMS where we learn this truth. Shalom to the apostles, the bishops, and to the men down on the highways and byways, giving the 100% truth day and night. Shalom to you and your household. And shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel, Labakar in the Hebrew, the house of David, which is about to be saved. Shalom to you. And shalom to the speckled birds among the heathen nations that look like the heathen nations, but return to the house of Israel and are being edified by these videos. Shalom to you. Start with the date. This is April 23rd of 2025, our hopeful year of salvation and the destruction of the nation of Edom. And as you see here, Saudi Arabia and Iran are meeting up and they're having like peace talks with the United States. But in reality, these two factions have been enemies. The Saudis against Iran, you know, they've been at war for a long time, for 30 years. So now that the fact that they're getting together is biblical prophecy, if you didn't know. But we're going to read the scriptures, but first we're going to read this article and get some understanding, because this is the time we're in. We're seeing the final pieces of this chessboard being moved, and this is this is a major piece. Iran is a major piece. It's one of the last factions to stand in World War III. So again, this is dated April 17th of 2025, 6 days ago. Saudi defense minister arrives in Tehran ahead of the Iran-U.S. talks. Okay. Dubai, April 17th, Reuters, Saudi defense minister Prince Khalid bin Salman arrived in Tehran. And Tehran, that's a spiritual name too. Okay, brothers and sisters, because who was Abraham's father? Tehran, or Terah. Okay, which is on the line of Shem, but God didn't choose his father; He chose Abraham. So again, it's spiritual that this is in unbiblical lands. Okay, so it's a spiritual name. Salman arrived in Tehran on Thursday for meeting with officials in a visit ahead of weeks' talk between Iran and the United States over the Iranian nuclear program. The defense minister delivers a message from Saudi King Salman bin Abdulaziz to Iranian Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei on Thursday. Iran's state media reported without giving further details about the content of the message. Iran and the U.S. are set to hold a second round of talks in Rome, which weekend about Tehran's dispute uranium-enriched program. Our belief is that the relation between the Islamic Republic of Iran and Saudi Arabia is beneficial for both countries. So you hear what's happening? These two countries that were enemies at one time are seeing, hey, we have more in common than our enemies have in common. We should be talking, right? Iranian state media cited Khamenei is saying the meeting. Khamenei voices Tehran's readiness to overcome obstacles in the way of improving ties with Riyadh. Okay, Iran and Saudi Arabia agreed in 2023 deal brokered by China, and of course China's in the middle of all this because they're going to benefit of all this stuff. Okay, to reestablish relationships after years of hostility that have threatened stability and security in the Gulf and helped fuel conflicts in the Middle East from Yemen to Syria. And that's correct. Okay, because they were fighting for a long time. Saddam Hussein was at war with Iran from the 1970s to the 80s. And who do you think the United States was backing? Saddam Hussein. Remember, he even used chemical war on these people. So, they don't have the best relationship, but now they're making up and finding out they have more in common than what they do with the enemy. Okay, Saudi Arabia welcomed Iran's nuclear talk with the U.S., saying it supported efforts to resolve regional and international disputes. In a statement published by the country's official news agency on Saturday, ties between Saudi and Iranian armed forces have been improving since the Beijing Agreement, which 2023. Iran's armed forces chief. Oh, what did just happen? Okay. Okay, just moved. Ties between Saudi and Iranian armed forces have been improving since the Beijing Agreement. Iran's armed forces chief of staff Mohammad Bagheri said after meeting the Saudi minister in Tehran, according to the Iranian state media, right? So, again, this is biblical prophecy that these two nations, which are enemies, are finding out they have more in common than really with the United States, okay? So, let's go to some verses and get some understanding of what we're saying. This is 2 Ezra chapter 15, verse 27. For now are the plagues come upon the whole earth, and ye shall remain in them. For God shall not deliver you, because you have sinned against him. Why? And this is talking about the 2/3 of the nation of Israel. Okay? Because he's not going to save the whole nation of Israel this time. He's saving the elect of the nation of Israel. And the 2/3 are going to have to partake of those plagues and of the second death. Okay? Verse 28, behold, a horrible vision and the appearance thereof from the east. So this is talking about that region that everybody's been fighting for thousands of years. Where the nations of the dragons of Arabia, so if you see here, the Lord is calling Arabia dragons. So we have seen other verses talk about Esau as the serpent and the dragon, but in this context, okay, that's what's very important. The Lord is using dragons for Arabia. Okay? Where the nations of the dragons of Arabia so shall come out with many chariots, and the multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon the earth, that all they which hear them may fear and tremble, right? Because Arabia really doesn't have an army, right? But they have all these weapons, they have all these bases, okay? So you could understand that they could even hire mercenaries, okay? Because Arabia is a monarchy. They're afraid of being toppled over, have a coup. Verse 30. Also, the Carmenians. Who are the Carmenians? Iran. The Persians. Because remember, Iran is not their original biblical name. Iran was given to them, I believe, in the 50s. That name, but really they're Persians. Okay, and the Carmenians are the Persians. Okay, also the Carmenians, raging in wrath, shall go forth as the wild boar. So here the Lord is giving the totems, right? Because there's different totems for different nations. Because the nation of Israel is known as the lion, right? Here he made Arabia as the dragon, and he's saying that the Carmenians are as boars, wild boars of the wood. With great power shall they come and join the battle with them. Who's joining with them? The Carmenians, the Persians, are meeting up with the dragons of Arabia. They're joining up. Okay? This is prophecy. And joining the battle with them, and shall waste a portion of the land of the Assyrians. And if you know what's happening in the last 10 years of Syria is basically bombed to hell. Okay? Bombed to hell. And let's see what else does it say. Verse 31. And then shall the dragons, Arabia, have the upper hand, remembering their nature, and if they shall turn themselves, conspiring together in great power to persecute them. All right. So the Lord is putting that ancient spirit of a wild man on the Saudis, on the sons of Ishmael. Okay? Because remember, he's known as a wild man. Okay? So now we know that these two countries are going to fight together in the Middle East because Iran's got high technology, high programs to detect stealth bombers and drones and stuff that a lot of these countries don't have, but Iran does. Okay, it wasn't like 30 years ago. They have submarines. They have all this stuff. They have money to give to the Houthis. They have all these people that they're supporting with money. That they're freedom fighters, right? All these they call terrorists now today, but back in the day they were called freedom fighters and all this stuff, right? So let's read one more verse and show you how this is coming together. This is Revelation 16 and 12. And the sixth angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates. Okay, because the Euphrates River is a massive river. Okay, and that's how the 10 tribes fled out of Assyria using the river Euphrates and come to the Americas. That's part of 2nd Ezra chapter 13 verse 40. Okay, and the Euphrates River is one of the borders that the Lord gave the nation of Israel. From the Nile to the Euphrates is the land of Israel. So very spiritual as well. So again, and the sixth angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the water thereof was dried up. And right now, the river is dried up. It is prophecy. The Lord did that already. That the way of the kings of the east may be prepared. What did we just read? Arabia, which are the dragons, and the wild boar, which are the Carmenians, which is Persia. These are the kings of the east. And it says right here what? To prepare the way of the kings of the east might be prepared. Why? Because they're going to use tanks, trucks. Armies are going to cross easily across that river. There's no need for bridges. So the Lord set up a great battlefield that this river, it wouldn't be an obstacle. He dried it up. Remember, this prophecy is being reiterated. Okay, because in the last days it said the Euphrates River would be dried up. And this is a major, massive river. This isn't just a creek or nothing. This is a massive river. So if you see, the Lord is moving his final chess pieces before World War III. And we're showing you that ancient people, these biblical people, are setting up and getting ready for war. Okay? World War III is on the rise. And most of America is not ready. They're going to be caught with their pants down. Okay? So that's the time we're in. The time of the dragons of Arabia and the wild boars of Carmenia are getting ready, getting suited and booted for World War III. Okay? So know that this is prophecy, brothers and sisters, that we have been telling you. These events are forthcoming, and we are closer and closer to the second coming of the Mashiach. So repent, for the kingdom of heaven is for you Israelites, for the elect of the nation of Israel. Call halal Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, Barakatham, Rakah Kedash, and he that have ears let him hear. Shalom.